Hello, I'm Dr. Rose Valentine. As a therapist, I've encountered many heartwarming stories that inspire hope and tenderness. Today, I invite you to experience a tale that beautifully weaves love, compassion, and fate. Set in Asheville, this enchanting story reveals how a stray dog led two kindred spirits to each other. Let's embark on this journey together. Hi there, I'm Sarah, and I've always had a soft spot for animals. I guess you could say it's in my nature to look for those who need a helping hand, or a pat on the head, as the case may be. My life had been relatively simple until that fateful day when a series of barks led me to a stray dog near my home, its eyes like two bottomless wells of uncertainty. Something about the way it looked at me tugged at my heart. Without overthinking, I scooped up the scruffy little furball and made my way to the nearest vet clinic. It felt right, despite the nervous energy tingling through me as I approached the reception desk, and that's when I met Nate. Standing there in his white coat, he had this calming presence that made it feel like everything was going to be all right. "Hi, how can I help you?" His voice was warm, almost like a hug. Explaining the situation, I watched as Nate looked at the dog with genuine care. His touch was gentle, and the dog seemed to sense it too, relaxing a little in his arms. As we spoke, I learned that he treated every creature with respect, believing each was deserving of love and care. We exchanged stories about our love for animals, his involving a farm upbringing, mine from the city where pets were family members. It was in these small moments, chatting about our shared passion, that a warm glow started to blossom inside me. On instinct, I found myself returning to the clinic over the next several days to check on the stray. With each visit, Nate and I carved out little moments together. I began to anticipate our conversations as much as I did seeing the dog. We talked about everything, from favorite childhood pets to the importance of compassion in our everyday lives. Nate's belief in the goodness of the world resonated in ways that were new, yet familiar. I'd never met someone who conveyed such spiritual depth through actions rather than words. Each interaction left me in quiet awe, not just of him, but of the connection forming between us. As I stood in the clinic one evening, watching Nate work with the kind of devotion I'd only ever dreamed of finding in a partner, I couldn't shake the feeling that the universe had aligned our paths for a reason. Just like that, a simple decision to help a stray dog became the start of something beautiful and profound. Little did I know, it was a flicker of light that would soon illuminate my life in ways beyond imagination. My frequent visits to the clinic became the highlight of my days. Each time I arrived, Nate greeted me with a smile that did something wonderful to my heart. Our chats often started with updates about the stray pup, then effortlessly drifted into our lives, beliefs, and dreams. Nate shared stories about growing up on his family's farm, where he learned the importance of kindness and hard work. Listening to him, I felt my own values reflected back at me, woven into the fabric of his words. One afternoon, as I sat with him in the small break room, Nate looked thoughtful. "You know, working with animals taught me a lot about patience and trust," he said, gently brushing a lock of hair from his forehead. There was something earnest about him that I found so appealing. Chemistry between us was undeniable. We laughed easily, and our conversations had an uplifting quality that lingered long after we parted ways. Spending time together wasn't just comforting. It felt like I was learning something new about myself through his perspective. A few weeks in, Nate invited me to tag along on a house call to a local farm, where a calf needed attention. The morning was crisp, with the sun casting a gentle light over the fields. As Nate worked, I watched him move with purpose and care. It was clear how much he cared for his work, and it stirred something in me, a blend of admiration and something deeper, something that felt remarkably like hope. Later, as we walked back to the truck, we stumbled upon yet another situation, a bird struggling to fly. Instinctively, we worked together, gently cradling its fragile form with shared tenderness. Our eyes met in a quiet moment of understanding, sealing an unspoken promise to always face challenges together. As our bond deepened, so did the stray's journey under Nate's meticulous care. Our hearts hummed with the same rhythm until we were suddenly caught off guard. The dog began to exhibit unusual symptoms, leaving us both puzzled and concerned. The initial assessment showed conflicting results, and for the first time, I saw Nate's brow furrow with doubt. We sat in the clinic side by side, searching for answers in silence, yet finding comfort in each other's presence. My heart ached with uncertainty, but beneath it lay a faith in Nate, and somehow in us. As we faced this unexpected challenge, I realized that the heart of our connection was being tested, and only time would reveal what lay ahead for us and the little life we had both grown to cherish. The days following the unexpected turn with the stray dog were challenging. Nate and I found solace in each other's company as we worked side by side to stabilize our furry friend's health. It was in these moments that I saw a different side of Nate, his vulnerability. One evening, as we sat in the quiet clinic, Nate opened up, his voice a soft murmur. "Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing enough for them," he said, eyes fixed on the dog resting peacefully. His confession was raw, and it tugged at something deep within me. I reached out instinctively, my hand finding his. "You give them hope, Nate. That's more than enough," I assured him. My heart swelled, realizing the depth of care he carried for every creature, and how that same care had extended to me. It was more than just a bond. It was a shared purpose. Together we channeled our focus into the dog's care, relying on our combined strengths. I watched as Nate poured his soul into his work, his commitment unwavering. During those long hours, it became clear how much we complemented each other, each bringing something essential to the table. Our connection felt like a foundation being laid, brick by empathic brick. The dog's condition slowly began to improve, responding well to the treatment. We celebrated the small victories, each one a testament to our combined perseverance. In those fleeting seconds of joy, I realized that what we had built went beyond the walls of the clinic. It was growing into a future. With the crisis passing and the dog's health settled, Nate and I stood together one evening, watching the sunset dip below the horizon. The air was filled with a tranquil stillness, ripe with unspoken truths. As the colors painted the sky, Nate turned to me, his eyes reflecting a promise. "I couldn't have done this without you," he said simply, his voice carrying weight beyond just the words. It was then that I understood. Our lives had intertwined like tendrils reaching for light, bound by shared experiences and the love we had for all living things. Together we had forged something remarkable. As I leaned into Nate, feeling the warmth radiating from his spirit, I knew that this was just the beginning of something beautiful. The future was bright before us, paved with the promise of love, loyalty, and an unbreakable bond. And so, our journey continued, grounded in compassion and uplifted by the shared hope for what lay ahead. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Rose Valentine, in discovering this heartfelt love story. From a simple act of kindness toward a stray dog, a beautiful romance blossomed. If this tale warmed your heart, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Join me again tomorrow for more inspiring stories, with new videos every day. Until then, may love and compassion guide your journey.